All right, very late video today, 9:30 or 9:55 as you can see, so it's nighttime. I didn't feel like doing a video today because I was feeling lazy, but I said I was going to do one every day, so we're going to do one every day. Let's see. Uh, this one's not really a story, but at my last job, oh, I guess it is a story. So I remember I had to come in for work at 8 o'clock in the morning, I think, and uh, the chef would let us in, and then we would go drop our stuff off. We would clock in, and then we'll start work. So we did that. Came in, went upstairs, dropped our bags in the hallway, came back down, tried to clock in. The machine wasn't working. The POS was down, so we can't clock in. And then we're like, oh, well, we'll just start work, and then we'll deal with the not clocking in later. Because one would think if it's the machine's down and there's nobody around that can fix it, you can't clock in. What are you gonna do? Not work? I guess we could have done that. Just, oh, I can't clock in. I can't start work. I'm just gonna sit around and do nothing. No, I guess we could do that, but yeah, didn't clock in. Went to work, and then later on when the general manager came, I went up to her. Well, one thing is nobody likes talking to her because she was very grumpy, and it would always be an argument just waiting to happen. So I always tried to talk to her as little as possible, because anytime you tried to talk to her about anything, it would end up being like you kind of get yelled at, but not you don't really get yelled at like a chef yelling at you. It's more of a condescending, nice voice. So yeah, I went up to her, and none of the other people did it yet. I went up to her and I said, hey, manager, I couldn't clock in earlier because, and then I think I don't remember what it was, but I think she cut me off and said, well, you go clock in now. And then I said something like, oh, but I started earlier. And then she gave me this whole like, you're not going to get paid because you didn't clock in. You next time you should do clock in to get paid. And then I was like, the POS was down, and she's like, nope, nope, no, blah 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 blah. And then yeah, the POS is down. The only person who could fix it says you should have clocked in if you wanted to get paid, when you just told her it doesn't work. So the logic doesn't make sense there. So after that, I was like, okay, I guess conversation's over. And I went and I asked the chef, like, chef, I tried to clock in earlier and the POS was down. I talked, and then the chef said, talk to manager. And I said, I did, but she doesn't want to adjust my hours. And that this isn't, yeah. So that's basically the story. It took, the machine was down. I asked the manager. The manager said, no, I'm not going to fix it when you give a logical explanation as to why you didn't clock in. And I had to go talk to another chef to talk to her to adjust the hours. So it's this whole big circle to get to a really hard conclusion that took so long when you could have just said, okay, I'll adjust it. Not that we're getting paid that much anyways. We're getting paid minimum, and then you'd work extra hours, not clocked in anyways. So, all right, training my replacement. Oh, I talked about Maui the other day already, so I'll cross all these out. But when right before they sent me to Maui, somebody was supposed to replace me, and it was a sous chef of this other like big chain fine dining ish restaurant. He was a sous chef over there. He got sent over there, and he was supposed to replace me as a line cook. So I knew he was coming, and then this was when I knew I was going to Maui already. So we're finding a replacement for me. So I knew he was coming like 3 days in advance. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna prep up a lot so I can train him nice and easy and smooth instead of like scrambling around with the new guy. So 3 days, I do things faster and I get even more stuff done to make the list of prep that we have to do smaller. The day he comes, I go through the whole more like he shows up, I show up, and then he basically shadows me through the whole day. And I don't really tell him to do anything. I just tell him, watch me work and watch what I do. Like just stand over there and watch me. You don't have to do anything. Like I'll do that. And then if I did tell him to do something, it wouldn't be both of us doing it. It would always be me or you. So there's only one person's worth of labor working throughout the whole day. So you could see it's one person's job to do this, not one plus an extra helper. So after I finished training him on the first day, it was like near the end of the day, and then I was having a conversation with him, and he was like, "Oh, that must have been a heavy day, huh? You knew I was coming, so you had a lot of extra prep for us to do." And then I was like, no, I prepped up a lot so that we could have an easy day and I could show you how to move slowly. This is a very slow day compared to normal. He's like, oh. And then we went home, and the next day came in, and then the chef got a call from that guy who's like, oh, I can't make it. My mom is in the hospital or something like that. And it was like, oh, okay. And then the next day happened. Nope, he didn't come back yet. And then basically he never came back, and he left his tray of knives over there. He still never came back for like the whole time I was there, and then I went to Maui and I came back. The knives were still there. He didn't even come back to pick up his knives. I think that was the time that he quit cooking on the spot when he realized how much work a normal high level line cook does, and then him being a sous chef from somewhere couldn't handle it. So he thought like, oh, what am I doing? This line cook does more than I can do, and I'm a sous chef at this kind of fine dining restaurant. So yeah, after they couldn't find anyone to replace me for before I left for Maui, so I was just like, I'm gone, bye. And then they had to deal with it. They eventually hired and trained like 3 people to do my station, but they all quit within like a couple of days of starting, and that was with one of the chefs helping them do my job. So it was a chef plus the new person doing my list of prep, and then even then they couldn't get the shit done, so they had to delegate, like you do to the other, like everyone took a little piece, because it turned out I was like the little what's it called, the elf that comes in to work at night and then you don't realize it, but then you wake up and then the work is done. That's basically what I was. I forget what that story is, the little elves that do the work for you. But I heard after I left, it was a constantly recurring thing. Like the chef would ask, like, "Hey, how come this? How come this stuff didn't go upstairs? Who's putting up the dry storage? Who's doing this? Who did that? Who's doing this?" Like all these things weren't getting done, and then the constant answer was, "Kenny used to do it." So yeah, uh, Kenny used to do it. That was the answer for a lot of stuff. And then it got to a point that everyone had to absorb my workload. And yeah, when I came back, I didn't get yelled at anymore, because the chef the chef that did all the yelling realized how much shit I got done. And so because he was so laser focused on like, I see him do this one thing that I think is wrong. He doesn't realize how much other shit that I did. But then when I came back, it was very clear what I did, because everyone else had to pick up what I used to do. So when I came back, I never got yelled at, and he was actually nice to me, and everyone was nice to me. Because usually if the chef is like talks crap to you, everyone else talks crap to you too. But then when I came back, he stopped talking crap, and then everyone else was like on the same boat, respectful. So yeah, that's that. That was nice. I came back and I could just work. Nobody would bother me. They just let me do what I do, which is get shit done. And when people don't bother me and question everything I do, I get more shit done. So I got even faster and more efficient.